So let's go ahead and get into the questions for this evening. David, we've got 4 of them, and we even have one from an individual in Ohio. But
Right.
the first question tonight comes from Dina in Crystal Lake, Michigan. And Dina writes, my mother gave me a power of attorney. She has not been well. I went to go and move some investment money that she had at the bank. I want to put it in a trust. She does not have a trust. Can I, as her power of attorney, create a trust for her? Dina in Crystal Lake.
So I always qualify these remarks by, my answers with, it depends on what the document says.
Right.
This is, the minute I heard it, this happens quite a bit. People want to, first of all, power of attorney is basically, you have a principal and an agent. The principal is the person who gives the authority away to the agent, who's known as what we call the attorney in fact, and that person can conduct business on behalf of the principal. A whole slew of items, a list of items as determined and enumerated in a power of attorney. So the powers that a attorney in fact may have, or the agent may have, are going to be dependent on what's stated in the power of attorney. So that's why I have to qualify the statement, which is I got to see the document, right? But let me just be very clear. So you could have a power of attorney that just says, hey, I give somebody the authority to do my banking, and that's it. You can also have a power of attorney like the ones that we generate in our office, which are like 36 pages long, and they actually have almost everything you could ever think of that people really do in real life. The level of authority is given to the attorney in fact to do those functions. Everything from buying, selling, holding real estate, renting real estate, to doing banking, or even allowing somebody to sign a lease for, let's say, a nursing home or something of that nature. There's so many different things that can be enumerated in those powers. Here's the thing: when it comes to creating estate plan type documents, or testamentary documents as we call them, the powers have to be specifically stated. So if she has a power of attorney and she wants to now go and create a trust for her, was it her mother? Her mother?
Yep.
It has to specifically state that she has that authority to create a trust for her mother.
Okay.
And if it doesn't, there's no authority. And this happens a lot in real estate, but usually after the fact when somebody has become ill and they try to move property around. The other thing, just on the aside, and there's always like rabbit holes, but this lady who has the authority, this attorney in fact, or this agent, can never name herself as a beneficiary on a will, okay?
Okay.
And most likely not on a trust either, because there's a conflict of interest.
Right. So if she creates the trust, she can't also be beneficiary to the trust. Obvious conflict.
That's my reading. I mean, unless there's specific language that would allow her to do so.
Okay.
It's very rare and really should not be attempted because it can be challenged at a later date. But if the power of attorney gives that person the authority to create the trust, she can still create a trust. She just can't name herself as a beneficiary.
Okay.
She opens herself up to challenges. So that's a very good question. And by the way, it goes along the lines with, my whole area of practice deals with real estate, but it's like a hub, and then there's a spoke of all these different areas that real estate is involved with, and one of them is probate or estate planning. So this is something that we provide, these services as well, is estate planning documents, power of attorneys, durable power of attorneys, when they deal with real estate.
Right. Yeah. So even though this question didn't have necessarily a property or piece of real estate within the question, so for those of you who are wondering, this isn't really touching on real estate. Why are we talking about estate planning?
Right.
Because usually within an estate is some form of real estate. So therefore, you would want to offer those services.
But you know what? So, while we're here, just just real briefly. So for all those real estate investors and people who are dealing with real estate, either it's their primary residence or not, and there's a power of attorney involved, I'll just give you a quick little hint. Whenever you do a transaction, a real estate transaction that involves a power of attorney, that power of attorney has to be recorded in the county in which the property is located. So before you run to go and do your transaction or your deal, don't record that power of attorney. Bring that power of attorney to your title agent. Let them record it when they do their transaction, when they complete the transaction for your investment deal. Do you understand that? So if ever there's a real estate transaction that's an investment deal or what have you, and it involves the power of attorney and you're using the power of attorney, it has to be recorded. But just don't record it on your own. Let the title company do it. Okay?
Yep, I did have a transaction like that about a year and a half ago where a man was the power of attorney for both of his parents, and we purchased his house, and so I used Michigan investment title in Romeo, and I don't attempt to do anything on my own other than speaking with potential sellers, doing negotiations. But as far as actually like closing the deal, all of the hoops that you have to jump through to properly close up a deal, I just send it all to Michigan investment title. And so that's the only scenario where I've dealt with a power of attorney, but they asked me for it, collected it, and you know, it went smoothly. So all right, well that's a really great question from Dina though, because off the top of my head, just as a layman, I don't know what all is encompassing in a power of attorney. So that is good to know that, well, you have to lay it out specifically what you want the power of attorney to grant. So that's good. So Dina and Crystal Lake, David's going to have to see the documents as
always. Always like that.
Always.
Yeah, pretty